My Tornado Experience by Jack Burnside. The date was May 3rd, 1948. At the time of the tornado, I had been working as a temporary well tender on Tulek. Russ Westfall was foreman at Good Hope for Kanawha District. Saturday afternoon, Russ located me over at Tallman's grocery store. He said District had called and wanted to know if I would work Sunday, as they were expecting a transmission line to go out because of a landslip. I told him that I would work as I had nothing planned. In a short time, Russ came back and said they wanted me to go to Stutler Junction as soon as I could get there. It was about 2 p.m. I told Russ that it would be 4 o'clock by the time I would get there, as the road was bad and I would have to walk from Vance Courtney's and also pack a lunch, as I would be there until midnight. He said okay and told me I would be relieved at midnight. Saturday evening was cloudy and windy. I checked in with gas dispatcher as soon as I arrived. Saturday evening went well, as nothing happened. I was relieved by Frank Carson of Jane Lou at midnight. Sunday was a cloudy, windy day. I told Catherine I was only going to wear a field jacket, as I got too hot wearing a raincoat. I arrived a little early to relieve Bill Fisher, who had relieved Frank. After Bill left, the wind seemed to get stronger. The checking station was a wooden frame building about 10 by 12. It was located where 2 transmission lines crossed. Line gates and bypass lines were installed so gas flow could be changed and regulated by orders of gas dispatcher. Gauge lines and gauges were placed in windows, so it was not necessary to go outside unless the gates had to be operated. About 5 minutes before the hour, each station would check with the gas dispatcher, giving pressures of each line. Soon after the 8 o'clock check, the wind velocity increased quite a lot. I had thoughts of leaving, but then I remembered why I was sent there. I believe it was about 25 minutes to 9 when the building began to vibrate heavily. One gate pit, a ladder, had to be used to get down to the gate. I thought that I would get inside and pull the steel cover to get out of the terrific wind. I tried to get out the door, but it would not open. It was on a suction then, but I did not realize it. I kicked the panels, but nothing would give. I decided to call the gas dispatcher and tell him what was happening in case it blew the building over and I would get hurt. I started to the wall telephone when the building went up like an elevator. I felt sure it was as high as a standard rig derrick, 85 feet. It began to swell, and I moved toward the end of the building, hoping it would land without rolling. When it came down, it hit the side of the hill, throwing me against the wall. I got up, tried my arms and legs, then thought, who would believe this when I told it? I took a side block against the wall, and I wasn't hurt at all. I thought it was all over. It was silent. All at once, the terrific wind took the top off the building and pulled the wall boards out. The wind was blowing blue across the square of the building. I thought that I would lay down next to the wall before it got me. The wind gave a hard blow, lifting the building like it might roll. I was praying that it might move the building any direction, as it was located on a hogback and hollows were on either side. It happened the second time, but not enough. The third time the building raised slowly, then began to roll. It rolled 3 times. I had to turn each time so it would not go up feet first. On the third roll, it kept dropping away. I was holding onto a window frame, and I was sure it would jerk me loose when it landed. It knocked me out, I guess for a while. When I came to, I was laying on my back, my feet up the wall in the corner. I pinched my legs and had no feelings. I thought if I got my spine straight, then I might regain the use of my legs. I took my hands and pushed my body toward the center of the building. My legs felt like they didn't belong to me. Soon I began to hurt so much that I couldn't stand it. I was able to roll over on my stomach. I tried to crawl to the telephone, not realizing the lines were broken. By now, I was hurting so bad that I decided that I had suffered enough and gave up. This is the last I remember until I regained consciousness 5 days later in the hospital.